I bow to all the seekers of it is very kind of you all to have come to celebrate my birthday. It's all your goodness. In modern times, who looks after the mother? One of the signs of modern times is that the parents will be neglected by the children. They may have to stay in an orphanage. But I find all of you here with such love, with such affection. All the way from all distances, you have come to greet your mother. Words stop at this point. I cannot understand the love that is pouring so much like an ocean over me. I just get lost into the beautiful feeling of a mother who has thousands of children, who are so kind. And also after my image of a good son or a good daughter. We had another great mother here in this Maharashtra, was Shri Mataji. And she's the one, she had an image of her son. That one day her son will be able to establish the kingdom of God, of honesty, of freedom, of character. Such Yuga Purushas are born in many years. Even his son could not come up to his character. The way he respected the daughter-in-law of Kalyan Sridhar, the way he behaved towards people, the way he led a life of dynamic bhakti. Such people are rarely born, and he could not even create someone like him. But today, I am so very fortunate to have children of your great character, understanding, and such spiritual values. Sahaja Yoga has created a new culture of spiritual value. The value system has taken a funny shape in the modern times. But in these modern times, when the shackles of this horrible culture, whether you call it Eastern, Western, modern, ancient, anything, because all of them have gone to the collapsible stages, one finds a new culture, a new life, a new age of a new race coming up. I am so gratified that you are all here to represent that culture of spiritual values, where we do not believe in any separatist standing on our self-experiences and the truth that is so evident. We are not the people who have taken to a kind of a violent or a peaceful, if you call it, reaction to the society. Like we have many organizations to verify, this is a reaction to this, that is a reaction to that. This is not a society that is demanding anything like money, power, nor is the society that calls itself a downtrodden or a underprivileged people. It is the most privileged society we have here today. The essence of this privilege is that you are all yogis, you are all saints, you are all abhyas, that there is satisfaction in your heart, that now the time has come to give. No more for asking for oil or for light. What you have got is the light and the oil. All the time flowing in you have to just spread this love to the whole world. Such confidence of love, such modesty of dynamism, such sharpness of compassion, such deep peace is prevalent in the society of service. The friendship, the love, like many waves of beautiful thoughts and feelings, is ocean of a new understanding of a higher life, of a sober life, of a sublime life, has to break all the barriers, all the nonsense of the world. Today we are facing face-to-face combat due to fundamentalists, due to fanatics, due to non-believers, due to politicians, economic scientists, all of them, who are conditioned by whatever path they are taking. Scientists are very much more conditioned than anybody else. They just refuse to accept that there is God Almighty above us. They are not scientists because they have no open-mindedness. If you don't have an open-mindedness, you are not a scientist. Now the time has come for you to prove the existence of God and His reality, which gives us security, peace, and joy. About Kundalini, I don't know how many lectures I have given, and I have worked it in so many ways that it should be appreciated, understood, knowledgeable to all of you. Only the knowledge of Kundalini is not going to help us at all. You might find some people who have much more knowledge of Kundalini than some of you have. They might have read at least 100 books on Kundalini. But it is not known to them. It's not the knowledge. It has to be hidden. It has to be known on your central nervous system. It has to be in your being that you should be able to know what is Kundalini. As soon as you see somebody, you should know where it stands as far as Christianity is concerned. As soon as you feel that consumer, you should know where you are as far as God's service is concerned. I must tell you a story. Once I was traveling with my husband in Kashmir. And just in a very wild place, I felt tremendous vibrations. And I said, from where these vibrations are coming? So my husband said, how can you have vibrations in this forlorn place? We asked the driver. He said, no, there is no temple, nothing here. It's a very wild place. I said, all right, let's go the way this road is. And we went one way ahead, about 5 miles. And there some Muslims, 4 Muslims were living there. So the driver asked him, is there a temple here? He said, no, there is no temple. But about a mile ahead, there is the Hazrat Iqbal. Hazrat Iqbal was the one heir of Muhammad. Can you imagine the vibrations? I got them about 5-6 miles away from one hair of Muhammad. When we deny Muhammad, or when we deny Christ, when we deny Krishna, or we deny Dattatreya, we are denying the truth, because they are all one. There is no difference. They are like flowers on one tree of life. We are not their judge, they are our judge. We are not to judge them. We haven't got that capacity to judge them. What capacity we have, that we have to achieve, that we have to reach, that has to mature. The spirituality has to mature to that extent where it is Sahaja Yogis, or it is Chishti, or it is Sainat. You should see nothing but Dattatreya presenting that. For that you have to have that sight of Kabila. You have to have that growth of Nanaka. Otherwise, we just talk. Those who have understood Sahaja Yoga have understood that all these barriers of religion has no meaning. It's all integrated, well woven, and worked out beautifully by sending all these incarnations, all these great prophets on this earth to create the humanity which is described as Confucius. To create in us our valencies, which are 10 valencies, and we call them dharma, of a human dharma, which is described by Confucius. It is described in different ways, no doubt, but still it says the same thing, same truth. As I said this morning, Sahaja Yoga has only one thing, and that is pure love. It has no greed, it has no lust, it has no ambitions, nothing. It has nothing but pure love flowing through your channels to the whole world. I hope we have achieved a very great thing, that we have people from all over the world who follow this path of Sahaja Yoga. Now it is for others to see whether they can come up to it or not. Because Sahaja Yoga is not a thing where you can be a member, you can pay some money, or you can sort of put a signboard that I am a Sahaja Yogi. It's the becoming of Sahaja Yoga is important. Those who have that capacity will come to us. Don't you worry, the whole world doesn't come. For me, you are the world. Those who want to come can join us and can enjoy themselves, can have that. We cannot run after them, we cannot fall at their feet, that come along, take to God. Let them themselves come on their own and enjoy the beauty of their own being, which is created by God, especially for them. Today, I must say that every year the age reduces in a way, because you are going towards your goal. But one has to remember that every year you mature. You mature like a seed comes up to a tree, that becomes a flower, and ultimately a fruit. And the fruit has to fall again to the ground to give the resurgence of the same seed. In the same way, whatever it is, whether the time is passing, one has to just judge how far have I matured in compassion, in love, in understanding of others. How far I can stand against all the atrocities done to others who are suffering. We have to open our eyes to the society, to our surroundings, to our country, to other countries, to everyone. We have to be alert. It's not to be enjoyed only by you. It is to be given to others, and for that, those who come to us, we have to tell them I'm sure one day will come, many will open their eyes and see for themselves that the only solution for this world's turmoil is self-realization. To know the self, that still they are not fully there. Once it happens, I'm very, very sure that this world will become a beautiful garden for all of us. May God bless you all.
Ah,
Jai
yes,
Shri
and
Mataji, Jai Shri Mataji, Avadhut Pai ji, and Manish Singh ji for joining us for this sharing of golden memories of your phenomenal times with Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi herself in the 1970s. We heard Shri Mataji in this talk, which was a birthday puja, seemed like a public program, and Shri Mataji is just so, straightforward, telling us what it is that they are doing. So, and what is expected of us, basically. So, will you please share with us? I know, in talking to both of you, it's very nice to see how you have grown in Sahaja Yoga and how where you are in Sahaja Yoga today. In the 1970s, you were maybe 16, 17-year-olds, and when you got your realization, could you please tell us where you were when you first got your realization? And what was it like, your meeting with Shri Mataji herself? Because India in 1970s was a much more quieter, simpler, dharmic place than it is now. It's all kind of really hectic. Everything is very frenetic. So can you please share with us those times when you first got your self-realization, your first meeting with Shri Mataji briefly, please?
mm,
So, Avdut, if you start, please.
thank you first of all for inviting me. It's such a pleasure to be with you. It's an honor, and I thank you very much for that. Now, to reply to your question, basically, I got my realization on the 14th of April 1972. My father got his realization in January 72, and he used to regularly go to the meetings. And then he said that we have to, because I've got one sister, and so he said, all of us, my sister, myself, and my mother, all of us should go and get our realization, because very soon Sri Mataji is going on the US tour. And that time, Sri Mataji used to stay in a place called Jivan Jyot in Mumbai. It was on the Nepean Sea Road, and the road was called Settleward Cross Road. So at the end of the road, there was this building, which was, I think so, the whole building was owned by this our this
Shipping
Shipping
Corporation.
Corporation of India, because Sir CP was the chairman of that. So it was on, I think, the second floor. Anyway, so we went there in the morning, and Sri Mataji used to come, and they used to give realization to people, and then they had to go on Sri Mataji's either feet or in the hand. So when my turn came, it was the left hand of Sri Mataji was free, and she put oil on my head. It was this Ramtirth Brahmi oil, I remember. And she said, "How are you feeling?" I said, "Yes, I feel fine." It was very cool. And I did not really feel any much difference as such. And she asked my name, and she liked my name. She said, yeah, she liked it. And that was it. So it was the starting point. And she used to, uh, invite everybody every day in the morning in a house. There was a big table, and all of us, a lot of food was there, and we had to eat before we go. We should not go without eating any. Yeah, should take something and then we go. So it was like that, and so it started like that.
So,
And yes, that was the first meeting. Yes.
so the first meeting, and Shri Mataji would have a table full of nice food as
Yes, she
it's so
used to.
great.
Yeah.
So would
Yes.
you
Yes.
meditate first and then eat before you went out to school, college, work for other yogis?
Yes.
Can
Yes.
you please
And
share that with us?
yeah, basically, when we were, I was 15 at that time, 72, born in 57. So, yes, we used to meditate, but our meditation was not like this. We used to just see the watch, and basically, my father was rather strict, and he wanted us to absolutely meditate every day before going to our school. I was in the 10th standard, so that time it was 11 plus 4 in India. Now it is 10 plus 2 plus 3. So we were on in the 10th standard. It was the last day of the exams. And then, of course, in the 11th standard, I meditated every day, every day. And yeah, that's it.
So when you say meditate as a 15-year-old, what was it like? Can you remember and recall some of it?
Yes, because in the beginning, I did not feel the vibrations. And uh, I was, I think so, I was much innocent.
Yeah.
So that innocence sort of protected me, and there was not much difference. I started feeling vibrations in after maybe a year. Huh? And that time, Sri Mataji, when she used to, now this was 72, and then 73, we used to have public programs, morning, evening, in a place called Bharati Vidya Bhavan in Chowpatty. It's a very famous area near the sea. And on the third floor, somebody had given a hall called Gita Mandir Hall. So we used to have a public program every day, morning and evening. And we used to, new people used to come, Sri Mataji used to talk. We used to give them realization. Then they used to go on Sri Mataji's feet. And at the end, all the older Sahaja Yogis also used to go on Sri Mataji's feet. Yeah. So, and then when they were on Sri Mataji's feet, we used to work on them. We used to raise their Kundalini. And slowly and gradually, I started feeling the tickling sensation, something on the fingers. And yeah. So that's how it started.
Okay, that's fantastic. So, as a 15-year-old, a student in India, and growing up, it's very sort of. I think some of our viewers might relate to it. It's a very precious and precarious age where peer pressure is a lot, and so you were there meditating and then going to your school or college, whatever you call it, and there would be pressures, because being boys being boys, possibly, and girls as well, there are so many sort of temptations to try out new things. For example, smoking and things like that. Were you ever tempted?
Yes, my smoking was, it was very, uh, I was in the first year, and we were going to a place called Matheran. I was in NCC, and we walked the whole night, and the 3rd of December 73. And I was going with the friends, and I was feeling very cold. So that was the first time I smoked. And then later on, I did not smoke much. But when I was in BSc, we were about 4 or 5 friends, and we used to go 1 week outside Bombay, like Lonavala, Matheran, one weekend. And that time people used to drink and all that, no drugs, of course. But I could not stand the drinks. But smoking, yes, I used to smoke 2, 3 cigarettes, and that was it. And that then on that there was a miracle. Was that then I was once in Goa in February, no, and January 76. I remember these dates because I was in the inter science afterwards. And so I was in alone with a friend of mine. It was very cold, and I said, "Give me a cigarette," and I smoked 1 cigarette. And then on the, I think so, 5th or 6th of February, there was a puja, and that puja is in the Panchmi. It was Panchmi. It's on Amruta also. So after that, we went on Sri Mataji's feet, and uh, at that time, after every puja, we used to go on, every Sahaja used to go on Sri Mataji's feet. And suddenly Sri Mataji said, "Avadhut, did you smoke?" Suddenly she said. And uh, to come to your question, even before, when I used to be in college, first year, second year, inter science, I had a very, all these bad jokes and this and that, and uh, all the other things like, talking very, rubbish and all that. And every evening I used to go for meetings with Sri Mataji. I said, maybe today Sri Mataji will catch me or something like that when you go on her feet. And always used to say, Uttam, nice. Okay, maybe, yeah, but I knew in my heart that it was all was not very nice. But then, of course, this cigarette thing happened. And then to go ahead with it, I still did not take it that seriously about not smoking. Again, with my friends, I used to go out, and you know how they are. They tell you to smoke this and that. I said, okay, I'll smoke again. And then in 79, January, in Dhulia, Raul Bhai's house, there was a Havan. And before that, Sri Mataji said, I want somebody to put his hand, a man who has never smoked in his life, to put his hand on my Vishuddhi. Because that time we used to, it was we were not able to catch all the vibrations, from Sri Mataji. So we used to tell, Sri Mataji used to tell us to put our hand on her body to take out the vibrations. So there were some foreigners, like Western people, and everybody smoked. Even the Indians, they smoked the bidi. And I was there, and everybody said, Avadhut, ask Avadhut. I just pulled my ears and I put my head down. I said, no, Sri Mataji caught me once. I don't want to sort of caught again. And I remember Sri Mataji said, yes, see, he has smoked, but he is accepting in front of everybody. I said, okay, it doesn't matter who says what, but I'm not going to be, uh, with Sri Mataji in that way. And the whole day I was with another Sahaja Yogi. And in the evening, we had a public program in a small little village. We were just standing outside sort of for a security. And suddenly I started getting the smell of the cigarette. And I found out that my right Vishuddhi, I don't remember the left, but right Vishuddhi very, very strong, as if some smoke is coming out, as if my finger is smoking, sort of. And we were staying with Sri Mataji. I said, we went there, and Sri Mataji was staying on the first floor, and we were on the ground floor. So I went and washed my hands. So this another Sahaja Yogi, his name was Suryavanshi from Rauri. So I said, you are a proof I did not smoke. He said, yes, yes. I said, see the smell. And even after washing, the smell was exactly the same, as if I've put my finger in a tobacco paste for 1 year. And then, of course, I was really worried. And that time we could go and meet Sri Mataji. So I went in a room and I said, this is what is happening. So the finger is smelling of cigarette. So she took both my fingers in her hand, Vishuddhi fingers, for about 1 or 2 minutes. He said, okay, now you see, I said, I saw there was no smoke. No, it was not smelling. So she said that because you have accepted this morning that you have smoked, I've taken all that smoke from your body. And then she said that if you tell now to anybody that you have never smoked, that will be true because that part of your life I have taken it out of your body.
Wow.
Completely, that karma is completely gone. Now you again promise me that you will not smoke. Of course, I promised and I did not smoke. And now in the West, I had once MRI scan for the brain, and the doctor said your brain is so clean. We see that you've never smoked in your life. I said yes, I've never smoked. Then there was also they call it Doppler, some carotid they see, and the different doctor he said no, your carotid is very clear, means you have never smoked in your life. I said, no, I did not smoke in my life. So that was a smoke miracle. It was a real miracle.
What a blessing. What a blessing from Shri Mataji herself that, and also the courage to have the honesty to be able to admit it in front of, very strict parents, because parents then were really,
Yes,
they will
yes,
not tolerate any nonsense
yes, yes.
or any pampering and so many other yogis probably who were elder to you at that point of time. So that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. Um,
Also, one thing, because Sri Mataji was very happy that I accepted it. And later on, I heard that in 79, I think, in Bodhi, she said, when Goddess is happy, she gives you blessings. And one of the blessings is we have our thoughtlessness. And here, her blessing was that she took out that karma from my body, from my being.
Wow. When Goddess is happy, she gives us blessings
Yeah,
and she
I've
took
got a
away
document of that.
karma.
I can give you the exact date. Yeah,
Yes, please, if you would, that would be
yeah,
nice.
yeah,
You
yeah.
email it to us. Um, can we put the same question to you, Manish?
So, this is interesting because so I came to Surge um, later. I came in 79 in March, and it was in Delhi. And actually, like I've mentioned in my one of my previous talks, that my the first two people who took me under their wing was Tony from England and Avadhut. Avadhut and I think it was 2, 3 years ago that we found out that we are both the same age. So I grew up in Simla and went to school over there. Uh, I think overall school I was okay. Didn't really get into smoking or this and that. My father had this thing, in fact, all his brothers and him, they used to like having their drinks in the evening, but I never really drank as such. But they would sometimes say, "Take a sip, take a sip, take a sip." So, you take a sip as such. But having grown up in a Sikh family, smoking was an absolute no-no. And I was a bit of a rebel. So because it was like you can't smoke, but drinking is okay, and it happened that one of my cousins, so I come from a mixed family in a sense. So, um, you know, my mother had, there were a total of 10 siblings. So there were 8 sisters and 2 brothers. And that time in Punjab and all these places, there was not really such a separation between what you might call as Hindus and Sikhs. So somehow it happened, and my nani came from a Hindu family, and my grandfather came from a Sikh family. And somehow 4 of their daughters got married to Hindus, and 4 got married to Sikhs. So one of my cousins, who was my age, and we were very close one day in his summer holidays, and I think it was somewhere around 71, 72, said to me, "I have to tell you something." And I was like, "Okay, what are you going to tell me?" And he said, "I've had a cigarette." And I was like appalled. I was like, "You had a cigarette?" And so, yeah, 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 we have to try one. So he lit one and he gave me a thing, and I took a puff and I choked on it. And I was like, no, this was, I mean, it wasn't a fun experience. It wasn't a nice experience, you know. But, you know, then it becomes, like you said, a little bit of a dare. And because he and I were really close, so, you know, I would, when I was with him, and he lived in Delhi, I lived in Simla, when we were together, you know, we would maybe try one or two. But then I finished school in Simla and then I moved to college in Delhi. And when I moved to college in Delhi, then it became more of a rampant thing. And remember at that time I wore a turban. And so, but I was one of those guys, if I wanted to do something, then I did it openly. I wasn't hiding behind it because I was like, no, you don't do things like that. So till the time I got my realization in 79, you know, I used to smoke, and I would say at one point it had become like I would smoke like five, six a day, and I was in the hostel in Delhi. But I would also say this that when I got my realization, in my heart of hearts, I knew it was not right. I just knew it. And the day I got my realization, I just dropped it like that. I didn't even look at it. Um, Same thing happened with alcohol. I never used to really drink, but you know, the Christmas and the New Year thing. And then if you were with friends, maybe you had one. But I just gave it up. And in fact, uh, one of my uncles, my taya, he was from in the army. And so he'd come to Simla during the summer months and, you know, he's offering me a beer. And I was like, I don't drink. And he looked at me and said, you don't drink? I said, no, I don't. And he's like, no, no, have one, have one. I said, Taji, I said, no, I don't drink. And, you know, so he got offended with me. But at that point, I couldn't care less because what I had experienced was far greater. And so to say that openly was no problem for me. And I just, how would I say, you just accepted it, what it was. Because in your hearts of heart, and Shimaji said it many times, that with Indians, even when they do something which is not right, which is not for your spirit, even when they do it, they know that it's not right. And so that consciousness was there. So when, you know, you experience something much greater and something which was so fulfilling and great, giving it up was absolutely no problem.
Okay, great. Thanks. So, thanks for sharing those experiences, which are so vital, especially to the younger generations to come. Would you please tell us, now that you got your realization and things dropped out, was there any tangible, significant difference in how in your results academically and otherwise? What is, if you'd like to share that, please?
I should start.
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Because basically in BSc, when I was in BSc, I was, I wanted a first class, and really I used to go once a week in my the meditation. For where we were staying, even to go there, it was 1.5 hour distance. But I kept that as a regularly once a week study, and then I really worked quite hard. And I remember where we were staying in a place called Vikroli. There was a small hill, and the whole day I used to study. In the evening, some of the things which I was not able to grasp, I used to go in that small hill and sit there. And I still remember feeling the Sahasrara, but that time I was not, that much aware. But now I know, and in that place I could really keep my attention on Sahasrara, and the study, that difficult thing, to grasp that I remember that. And then once in fire engineering afterwards in Nagpur, Also, there was one, I remember it's called fluid mechanics. And when I saw the question paper, I said, oh God, how I'm going to reply? Just put my attention on Sahasrar. I don't know what I wrote. And I passed with flying colors. So it was quite a good experience. And also basically how Shri Mataji helps us is that when I got my marks in my BSc, it was out of 600 marks, and first class was 60%, 360, and I got 339. So it's 21 marks missing. And I was in NCC, and in NCC you get 10 marks for the NCC. And the Bombay University used to give 8 marks as a grace in case you miss them to have a higher class. So I could have got 18 marks, but still more 3 marks were remaining. And when I got my mark sheet, they had not even given our 10 marks, which we rightly deserved. I was the senior most, so my it was officer. He said, "No, you go and see in the university what's happening," because none of us got those 10 marks. So I went there 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and he said, "Oh, come bring your file." And then last day, my officer told, take the whole file, but please don't give it to him because file should not be put out of the school or the college. So okay, so he said, no, you're right. So he said, tomorrow you come, I will give you the 10 marks. And in morning when I came, he said, in the afternoon he said, oh, congratulations, you got your three marks more and you got a first class. I said, if it's a joke, it's not the time, because I was really fed up. He said, no, really, we have got a law and this and that, and you bring again your whole thing and I'll give you. So he went himself to the vice chancellor, and my BSc mark sheet is handwritten, everything. And what happened was that time I was to write to Shri Mataji, physical letters. I remember that Oxted, Surrey, all that So I wrote to Shri Mataji saying that I just missed my first class by some few marks, but maybe that it was good for my ego, and that's your will. And then Shri Mataji just closed her eyes and she said, "Why did Avadhut get his first class?" And here what happened was this, and this fellow said that as soon as I saw Avadhut, I thought I should do something for him. The fact that he brought the whole file it sort of impressed him. But Srimati, when she came back to Bombay, she told us that she had thought, and here, see what happens. So since that time, I know that if Srimati's attention is there, things can work out. And even later on, I sometimes really, when something which really disturbs me, I write it on Sri Mataji's, write it on piece of paper and put it on Sri Mataji's feet, and that helps a lot. That helps, and then you don't think about it. Try not to think about it because you've put it. And also on this letter, also Sri Mataji had told me, you want me to tell that?
Did you post that letter to Shri Mataji, or did you
Yeah,
offer
no,
to
no,
get her
no. That
letter?
time I used to post it. All
Okay.
those letters used to go to that Oxted Surrey, and yeah. Because Sri Mataji was in the US, the
Okay.
UK,
Yeah.
yeah. And when she came back, she said, yeah. And
Okay. So, sorry, go on.
because the letter writing on Sri Mataji's feet was also very effective. And in 87, we had a puja near Paris, Krishna Puja. And I had the opportunity to go in front of Shri Mataji. Shri Mataji said, I have put out the leader of Bombay out of Sahaja Yoga. Because he was giving very bad words. When he was angry, he was giving very bad words. And Shri Mataji told me, I told your father, why didn't you tell me? And he said that, yes, I used to tell you, I used to write and put it at your lotus feet. So it means that Sri Mataji told me that if you have got any problem, just write to and put it at my lotus feet. And then of course I put it 10 days and then put it in the river or bury it. And once I had forgotten, and I got that letter after 4 years, and in the letter I had written that I should feel the joy in my meditation, and I was very angry type of a person, very angry, getting angry. And in these 4 years, both of them Sri Mataji had granted. And since then, I know that whatever I write on Sri Mataji's feet goes to her. Doesn't matter if she's not there physically. We put it at her lotus feet.
It's in Shri Mataji's attention.
Yes.
Great. Fantastic. Would you have any story of that type
You
to
know,
share?
it's interesting because these bring back memories. So when I got my realization in March of 79, and at that time I was doing first year of law in Delhi University. And this is very interesting because all of this, it just came to me literally as we are talking. And so, yes, exams happened after that. I think they used to happen in May. And so I did the first year of law. And I'd forgotten about that in a way because I didn't complete my law degree, right? Because after that, I applied for hotel management with the Oberoi Group, and I got selected over there. Then I became a management trainee from there. And so I went on to the hotel path. But many years later, and this I'm now going to 2002, 2003, I wanted to do my MBA in the US. And so one of the requirements was that you had to have X amount of years of education before that. And in India at that time, it used to be, we used to be 11 years in school and then plus 3 years of college. So I was falling 1 year short. And then I remembered I had done 1 year of law. However, I did not have my papers or my record from law faculty.
Wow.
And so I'm like, what do you do about this? How do you get it? And so I asked some people in India, and they were like, oh, that was so long ago. You'll never find it, this and that, etc. So this went on for about a year or 2 years. And then I happened to go to India, and I said, they've all told me that it's impossible to get it. But I'm still going to go and find out. So I went to Delhi University, and I first went to Sri Ram College of Commerce because that's where I did my undergrad from. I did BA in Economics Honors. So I went there and I said, can I get a copy of my mark sheet and all that? You'll be surprised. I literally got it within 15 minutes. And I had finished with Sri Ram College of Commerce in 77, 78. And they had the record and they gave it to me. I didn't have to bribe anyone. Then after that, I went looking for the law thing. So they told me to go to a particular place, which was where they kept the records. And I went there and I said, I'm looking for this. They looked it up. I had to pay a very nominal fee. I think it was less than 100 or 200 rupees. So it wasn't that much money. And they said, in 2 weeks, we will mail it to you. And they did. And now looking back on it, when I remember my law faculty first year, I did get what you would call as, because at that time, they never used to give you marks. They used to give you, A plus B, that kind of thing.
Great.
And overall, I did get an A overall in my first year of law. And that helped me to qualify for my MBA. And then I got started with that. So, and I'll tell you this, I wasn't a bad student, but I wasn't a very focused student because it was like I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was just doing things to, get along. Okay, you're supposed to get a degree. Let's get the degree. I started the law because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So a lot of my uh, college mates, they were looking to go into the IAS, IFS, and they were doing law. So I said, okay, let's do law while you figure it out. And then I got directed into this hotel and hospitality business. But that 1 year which I did, so many years later, came in handy. And, because of that, I didn't have to do additional education in the US to qualify to go ahead with the program. And so I had got all my mark sheets. And again, when people said it's an impossibility to get it, they had all the records. They had all the records, and I really did not have to struggle.
Impressive. That really is a miracle.
Yeah, it was the same thing for me because I did not even know where the Bombay University was, the building, because people said you should know somebody, this, that. I said, I don't know anybody. But because I was a senior in NCC, I had to go and do the things. Yeah.
Yes. And for viewers who don't know what NCC is, National Cadet Corps, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like the student version in school college of Army,
Military.
Navy, and Air
Yeah.
Force, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
I
so
was in the army wing. Yeah.
you were in the Army wing. Okay. I was in the Navy.
Okay.
It's nice. It's a lovely, lovely story to share. Now, going back to Shri Mataji and Sahaja Yoga in the 1970s, um, could you please tell us, like, what was the scene like? Like, how many yogis were there? It was very informal from when you got your realization, like you were, meeting Shri Mataji, having nice food, and going to school, college, work, what have you. How many yogis were there? Because it kind of was a slow growth, wasn't it? Like an organic, slow growth of Sahaja Yoga.
Yeah, basically, where right in the beginning to my memories go back to 73, 74. And like 73, Sri Mataji used to have, because after my SSC, we have 3 months of vacation. And we used to stay in a place called Vikroli, and this Bharti Devan was in Chowpatty. It was about an hour and a half distance. So I used to go to VT, and then all the way to Chowpatty, I used to go walking along the seashore morning, then come back home in the evening with the parents. I used to go. So yeah, so those 3 months I always went there, and morning, evening. And then when Sri Mataji went to US, when she came back, UK, and when she came back, 74 used to have it in the evening, regular public programs. Now, the only thing is Sri Mataji was physically very, very close to us. If I can tell you, Sri Mataji came to our house 3 times. She used to come in the ambassador car. We used to stay in a place called Vikroli, 9x4. Now it's not, it's called C9x4. My father was working Godrej in India.
Okay.
So we had staff quarters. So she came there in ambassador car with 7, 8 people jammed inside. She used to come at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning after the public program, something, till 5 o'clock. And she used to do, my father used to do a puja of hers in our house, a small puja. So my father was sort of the first pujari, we can say, in the beginning. Yes.
Nice.
And so she came to our house, and then she used to go. So physically, she was really very close to us. Now, at that time, this, Adi Shakti, don't think so she had told or anything. We knew she was something, very, spiritually very high. Very frankly, I did not even think what she was. I just wanted to meditate and sort of grow. That's
Yeah.
all. I used to enjoy the meditations right from the beginning. But that was a negative part, was that many people, many people, they got lost in that Maya. Because when we are very, very close physically to Sri Mataji, and we are well known, sort of, in India, sometimes Sri Mataji forgets us, and that should not happen. because this is what happens, and then we get into that maya of let's say power, fame, or whatever, or even money or other scandals. Yeah. So this is what happened. Yeah.
So, as a sort of a typical Indian family in those days, in the early 1970s, Shri Mataji would come to your house after public programs, and then your father would offer her a puja. I mean, that early in the morning, where would you go get flowers and things? What was it like? Just
No,
please
no,
narrate one of
yeah,
those.
basically it was just we used to buy flowers and keep it in the daytime.
Acha.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, of course.
so you knew that she may come, or she would
No,
come.
she would come. Yeah, yeah. Because near Vikroli, one of the places called Tagore Nagar in near Vikroli West, and then east side at Tagore Nagar, there was a public program, and she came afterwards. So afterwards, I don't know, but she used to come quite late in the night.
Yes.
With yeah, sometimes
So
yeah.
would you and your sister Meenakshi, would you be awake, or you would be woken up
Yes, no, 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 no.
Mataji's
Yes,
ears?
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
No, no. I mean, the sleeping business was in Bordi. We used to go from 70 to 73, I think so. We started, there was a seminar in Bordi that time. The last seminar was in 85 when I got married in February 85. And then December 85, Ganpati Pule started. So when we were small, we were about 15, 20 Sahaja Yogis. There was a music program and all this. There was one Mr. Khade and all the same thing. He used to sing very good songs, and then Shri Mataji, liked them very much, and he made a big book and then made a lot of money. He went out of Sahaja Yoga. And so that time, yeah, so that time I still remember we used to go and I felt so sleepy. I said, Shri Mataji, can I go and sleep? She used to say, yes, 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 you can go and sleep. We were 10, 15 in front of her. So I used to
Yeah.
sleep, and then next day my father used to shout, why did you want to go and sleep? We really enjoyed. I said, yeah, bhaiya, I can't. That way it was, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Typical, yes,
Yeah,
children.
and then I still also remember I had a small transistor. There was a cricket match. I used to listen, and my father scolded, have you come for the seminar or for, like this? Anyway, it was that
Yeah, no,
time.
it's nice to have that sort of insight, because in those times, like, there is this almost curse of social media on our attention. In those days, life was a lot simpler. There was
Yes,
hardly Doordarshan, if that was there, and there would be very few programs that you could
yes,
watch,
yes, yes.
really, two
Yeah,
hours or something.
only Sunday after evening there was a film. Otherwise, yeah, the other things, yeah, yeah. Mm.
So what was life like at home? Because all of you were Sahaja Yogis, isn't it? Your
Yes,
parents,
yes,
you and
yes,
your
yes,
sister. So
yes.
what was the routine, a typical day? Could you please
Yeah,
describe
in the beginning, we had a lot of photos in our house. This is,
Mataji's photos,
no, we had
other deities?
Shankar,
Okay.
yeah, deities photos and this and that. I always used to think, it was a compulsion to do the puja. So I had to do the puja, and I used to think, are the gods inside this photo? If there is God, how do I know? And if there is no God, what's the use of doing this puja? You see, but still I used to do that puja, and uh, but then later on we had just Sri Mataji's photo, and just in the, yeah, yeah, she had given us one Jesus Christ image that we had.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she had given us a Ganesha also, we had that.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's really, really interesting times with Shri Mataji. Is there any other experience that you would like to share with us from those times? I'm going to bring up a few photos that you had shared,
Yeah.
and then you can describe about it, because these are some of the, I th it seems seemingly disappearing traits, when seeing of someone, the tears in the eyes, the mamta, the affection.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, please
So
tell us.
at that time, one of the things which comes in my mind is,
Yes.
I remember uh, one of us calling Sri Mataji, saying, "Today is my exam, please put a bandhan," and Shri Mataji used to put a bandhan. So this was this photo I was telling you about. I
Yes.
do not know the
Abdul,
what was
isn't
it?
that?
What your mother-in-law?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes,
It is
yes, yes.
Hiru's
Wow.
mother,
Hiru's mother.
Wow,
Yes,
look at
yes.
that.
Yeah, yeah. And
Chandra.
on the left-hand side, the boy is called Moreshwar.
Ah,
And behind the lady who's behind, just see the forehead. She is mother of Swarup and Chris Kiriakou from Australia. Mm,
wow.
mm, mm.
Amazing, Shri Mataji. Look at
Yeah,
that
yeah.
with the affection, the
Yes,
embrace.
yes, yes. And
Oh,
Sri Mataji used to cry also to,
yes, yes. I remember my when my mother used to come, I'd have it happen only once or twice, leave her parents' house, she would really cry, and I was little. I wouldn't understand why she's crying, but it's so nice to hear that even Shri Mataji being the Adi Shakti and everything, the creator, and yet she would cry at send-offs, at goodbyes, isn't it?
sure, sure. Mm.
Lovely.
Even the last time I saw her crying when my father expired and he gave all the things for Sahaja, he had written a will.
Uh-huh.
And Sri Mataji was sitting and she was reading the will and she was tears coming in the eyes. I can see literally that Sri Mataji's image. It was in
Yeah.
Kabela, 94, Adi
Wow.
Shakti Puja.
Amazing. Just trying to bring some other photos. This is Srimataji sitting in how, we dining table and things came much later. This is how,
Yeah, she used to eat with us sitting on the ground. That's it. There was a photo, a place called Marve,
uh-huh,
and this Rajesh Bhai had given us this place, a bungalow. We used to
uh-huh.
come in the morning, clean that, and yeah, and we used to sit and eat. So this is my father holding the mic for Sri Mataji. And that tape recorder is there on the right hand side of Sri Mataji. Yeah, the big one. Yeah, that's one.
All right. So how many Sahaja Yogis are there in that room, and where is this? In Rajesh Shah's.
No, this is, I think so, could be in Delhi because on the left hand side there is one, I don't know her name,
That's all.
Oh, this
Manek
was
Bai, something like that. I don't know.
no, no, but the girl sitting next to Shimadji
Lady, yeah.
was, yeah, she was Chaya's friend.
Ah,
You know Chaya,
yes. She's in London, isn't she?
right? And she got married to Rustam. I'm forgetting her name. She was from Delhi.
Ah,
Mhm.
That
No,
is her. So he's right. This is from Delhi. And I think this was at 10 Ashoka Road because that's where, when I
no,
got
no.
my realization, no?
No, no, no. Sorry, sorry. Because this lady, I remember her. She was rather elderly. It is not that young, married to.
No?
No, no. And 10 Ashoka Road, my father wasn't there when I met you. My father used to go to Delhi, maybe in 77, 78. Yeah.
Okay.
so
Mm.
this is 77, 78.
Could be, yeah, yeah, that time. I don't know exactly. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to some photos from Bodhi now.
Sure, sure. So this is the place where we used to live. There was on the extreme left is my mother,
This
and
one here.
yeah, 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 and
Wow.
Sri Mataji is right in the middle, and on her left there is this one Mr. Divanji. Yes, one Mr. Divanji, who her left of Sri Mataji. Old, yes. So he used to give us this bungalow. If you see that
Ah,
photo behind is written
yes.
Divanji, and the on the just behind on the right hand side when there was one Mr. Mali, this
Ah,
not the one with the specs but on his left,
yes.
yeah, behind. So
There.
Yeah, so he had a studio in Dhobi Talab in Bombay, and that was where the first photo of Sri Mataji was taken of her Abhaidan, that black and white photo.
Oh,
Mm.
really?
Yeah,
Which year is this then?
this
Amazing.
this photo I don't know remember the year. Could be
Uh,
73, 74.
okay.
Yeah, but Meenakshita is right down there.
Yes, I can see her
Yeah,
wearing the
yeah,
scarf
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah.
looking just like she does now. Is this
Yeah.
Rahul here?
No, she is
No, no.
this Mr. BG Pradhan, the older Pradhan, his
Yes,
wife.
yes. Ah,
Yes.
And
so
next
and
to
yeah.
next is Nima, right? Next to her.
Yes,
Uh,
of that, yeah,
and
on
then
her
behind
right.
Shimaji is Rajabai Modi.
Yes, tall,
Amazing.
yeah.
So amazing. So this is the Sahaja Yogis
Yeah,
in
there is also
Bodh.
another photo in which I have shown all the sort of the whole group is there. You can see.
Let's see. Is
Yes,
that the
this was January 77.
look at
I
Shri
was sitting behind Sri Mataji on her right, and there was in the big
Yeah,
yeah
that one.
yes, and then there was on the right of Sri Mataji is Mane. He was Yogi. They were basically three pillars from Rahuri: Mane, Chavan uncle, and Dhumal uncle. So on the right hand side of Mane is Chavan uncle, and on his right is Modi uncle.
Wow.
And behind we can see Maureen, behind
Oh, that
Maureen
must be
and
the India tour, Pat and Maureen.
77, January
Wow.
77.
Yes, you can see Maureen there.
Yeah, and then
Most
Gavin
probably
on,
Tony
yeah,
there.
and I think so it just little bit the head of, right in behind, I
That's
think, yeah,
Pat.
I think so it was Pat.
Yeah, looks
Yeah,
like him.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Mm.
Gosh, we might share these photos with them if that's okay with you
Yeah,
to add
this was
them
our
around.
whole group. Yeah,
Yeah,
Sri
gosh.
Mataji is looking down. This was our whole group in Bordi at that time.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's
Or
quite a fair few of such yogis there, isn't it?
yeah. Even some of them, some of course have expired, but some of them went out of Sajoga. On the
Yeah.
extreme left is one Mr. Patil.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and he was a fisherman. And Sri Mataji once told a story about him. Was he used to come always with a garland, and Sri Mataji said, "But why are you spending so much money?" And he was staying in a place called Kalve,
Uh-huh.
and
Kalwe,
yeah, and it was not this, we used to have puja and all, not that, but very close to the station. And he
uh-huh.
had told that he had a very barren land, and one fine morning somebody came and he said that I would like to take some of the land from your because your land makes very good bricks, and
Yeah.
that's how you could that barren land he could make some money out of it. And he brought the garland. Sri Mataji tells this story in the one of us.
Yes. Yes, we've heard
Yeah,
that. Yes.
Patil. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, this was his puja. This was the puja. That time, you see how we were doing.
Yes.
So this photo is a bit cut because on the right is left hand side, my father was doing the puja, and Sri Mataji was in deep in meditation.
Yes.
It was in
Is it
Bordu
the
also.
same day where Shri Mataji is sitting on the floor and eating? Or that same
I
seminar?
don't, no. Sitting on the
No.
floor, I think so, but I'm not quite sure of the date. But
No.
there, that was in Marve. So this Marve, I was telling you,
Yeah.
we used to go in the morning. We used to have a Havan, Puja, and the evening. And
Yes.
the whole day, Sri Mataji used to be with us.
Wow.
And in the evening, I remember once, and especially on the, I think so it's on Akshat Tritiya. You know the Akshat Tritiya?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she put us on the wet sand, all of us, about we were 15, 20, or maybe 30, I don't remember. And she worked on us individually,
Wow.
putting all the negativities from our back. She worked on us and she put them in the wet sand. I remember her telling that the wet sand is the best element, wet sand on the seashore,
Hmm.
for absorbing our negativities on the of the
Mm.
body. Yeah, cleans us very well. Good element.
What did it feel like to you when Shri worked on you?
I don't remember, to be
Easier
very
said than
frank.
done.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, this was with my parents.
Yes. Where is this then?
It was a place called Vasai. It was
Uh-huh.
also there is a small story about this. It was I was in NCC, SSC, the last year of my school, and Srimati was to go there, quite far from Bombay. My father thought Srimati would never come in the second class, and he took first class tickets for us. It was quite
Yeah.
expensive.
Yes.
And but Shri Mataji was with all the Sahaja Yogis in the second class, and she went there, and this photo was taken there.
Beautiful, isn't it? Gosh. And Shri Mataji's got such a lovely expression with the garlands, and I
Yeah.
like her
The
purse.
purse,
Yeah,
yes, yes,
so
yes,
beautiful.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, there's a passport photo here.
Yeah, passport photo. There was one Mr. Warik, you must have heard his name in one of the talks. So we were very close, and he was very elderly. And when I came to the West, he gave me his own personal photo. This was the photo on the passport of Sri Mataji when Sri Mataji went to the UK first time. And at that time we could
Oh,
not take any copies, but he gave me his own.
wow.
And yes, yes, I still
Thank you for
remember at
sharing.
that. Yes, yes, I
So
made
this,
I made the
yeah.
copies out of them. Mm.
So this is the passport photo of Shri Mataji that she had in her passport when she came to the UK, to the
Yes.
heart of the universe.
Mm.
Amazing.
Yeah. This Nilambar is on a place called Pedder Road in Bombay. It was on the 13th floor, and uh, this Rajesh Shah had given us this flat for Sahaja just for rent for maybe a year or something. So I had the good opportunity of staying there. Sri Mataji was in one room with Rahul Bhai, and we were sleeping in the hall and all that. So I was there for about 7 or 8 months. I just finished my BSc and couldn't get admission in my MSc. So my father said, be with Sri Mataji. And here there was the first Saj marriage took place in end 78. Uh,
Wow.
yeah. And Sri Mataji was to sometimes used to go to tour and come back and all that like this, you see. So
It's
lots
amazing.
of,
Thanks for sharing the background. This is a very famous photo, a very
yes,
lovely photo of Shri Mataji,
yes,
as all her photos are. But it's
yes,
good
yes,
to know that this is on the 13th floor as well. I mean, a lot
yes,
of us
yes.
sort of don't
Yeah,
look at the number 13th in a very
I
favorable manner.
know, I know. But in one of the talks in Marathi, she says, "Yeah, I'm in Nilambar, or you can come over," or something like that. See?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Mm.
any particular incidents that you remember
Oh, with
from with Shri Mataji for that
this, yes,
one
yes,
year?
yes, yes. Sorry.
Do you want to share any
Yes, yes.
incident that
Because
happened at this particular place?
yes, lots. But I'll tell you one or two. I
Yes, please.
was, we had a puja or something, and the whole day I was in the sun, and I cannot stand sun. And in the evening, Sri Mataji was joking. She was telling and a lot of jokes. Everybody laughing, but I had such a headache. And Srimati said, "But what happened?" I said, "I've got a headache." So she said, "Do you come?" She said, "You put your hand on my liver." So I put my hand on her liver. She was talking, discussing, and laughing, and like this. And suddenly I said, "Sri Mataji, I was feeling sick and I wanted to go to toilet." So in the toilet, I had sort of a diarrhea and vomiting. So really, I was cleaned from top and bottom, and I was completely sort of that headache went away. And Srimati said, "How do you feel now?" I said, "Yes, yes, fine." So it was uh, this place.
Amazing. Clear out
Yes,
as well
yes,
for
yes.
you. Wow.
And then there was some Sahaja that time from abroad, like Tony. There was Uncle Gregoire, a lot of people. And Srimati told me to take them to the beach, to museum, to Elephanta Caves, to cinema, these that, because I was available. And
Yes.
one of them was two or three. When they were feeling thirsty, we used to go to have limca, and
Oh,
they never knew that they have to pay also. So they had to pay for them. And so my father said, "Don't tell them anything. They are like gods. You should not ask them anything." So okay, it's your money. And the next year, what happened was, we were not given anything, and it seems the leader of that time, he spread a word that Avadhut has taken some collective money when he was with Shri Mataji Nilambar, because I had the collective money. I used to go for shopping with the we had a cook and all that. So I used to
yes.
bring newspaper for Sri Mataji and all that. And so I was really feeling so not sad, but uh, you know, for his ignorance. Anyway, so then Srimati told, after a public program, she said, "Okay, you go on this beach, and Avadhut will come to you." And she said in front of everybody, "Avadhut has spent a lot of money on you. Don't allow him to spend money on you." And she told me in
Wow.
Marathi, "They've got enough money. They can spend on their this thing. You don't have to spend for them." So how she gave a
Yeah.
clean sheet.
Yeah.
I
And so
just remember.
important because without that, you would have been internally quite disturbed, shall we say?
No, because I literally I was feeling pity for his ignorance. Uh,
Ah, okay.
I,
That's
I was
fine.
not feeling any.
You
I
took
was
it in
not.
the right spirit.
No, no, no. Yeah, this was one Sarjogini who sent me the photo. This Rustam on the left.
That's
Then there
you.
was on the left hand side of Sri Mataji, there was one Philippa. She was a journalist from UK.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it was a small group. It was just this when Sri Mataji told.
And this is probably where both of you are there.
Exactly. We met with Manish. Yeah, first time. 10 Ashoka
That's
Road
when I,
from, I think so, it was from 9 to 16 February
Wow.
79.
yeah, it was, yeah.
Any outstanding memories you'd like to share here?
You know, other than the black and white photograph of Shivaji, which, um, was always given when you first came to Surge Yoga at a public program,
Yeah.
this photograph of Shivaji with the crown. There's
Yes.
one photograph of Shivaji in the Abhay Mudra
Yes.
in this very puja, and she's got her eyes closed. So
Uh-huh.
that was a photograph which I had on my altar for the longest time, and used to meditate on this. And this is at Holi, right, Avdut? I think it's
Yeah,
at
it was
Holi.
a holy. Yeah, there
It
was
was
also,
at,
yeah,
yeah.
Yes.
And
Mataji is
yeah.
wearing a lovely sari there.
Right.
Don't know
So
what
you
color that
see,
would be, but
on the
the sari is
left-hand
bandhani,
side,
Rajasthani, isn't it beautiful?
right, on the right-hand side, on the extreme, you see Avdut. On the
Yes.
other extreme is Dr. Mathur, Uncle
Smart.
Mathur. Yeah. And next to him is Tony.
Yeah, then
Next to
next to
him,
him
right
is
in front
Mr.
is,
Subramaniam. Yeah.
and next after that is Uncle Subramaniam, and then of course behind is Gregoire. Then there's Uncle Verma in front, and next to Shimaji is standing is Sonu and Anand. Um, you can see Anand is on one side and Sonu's on the other side. And then there's Uncle Rai over there. There's Mr. S.P. Singh. There's Uncle Venugopalan there. And so when I came to Surge Yoga, all of these other children you see, they're much younger, right? The older ones were probably 10, 11, 12, something like that. So the older people, uh, Okay, something happened to Sushmita.
Maybe I can I leave you and come back quickly?
Yeah.
I'll go to
Oh, I think she's back.
she's back.
Okay.
Um,
Ah, there you are.
Sorry, my connection dropped, it seems.
Yeah, something happened.
Yeah. Okay, there we are. Is Abdulji online as well?
yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. So do you want to talk through this photo?
Sure, I can do that.
Go on then.
So the point I was saying was that there weren't many young people in
Yeah.
Sahaja Yoga in Delhi. The only people I remember who were, my age at that time, I was 22, was Uncle Mathur's daughters, and the son was younger. I think he was like probably 15, and then there was a younger daughter. Her name was Yashi, and
Yeah.
then she moved to France,
Ah,
Paris. She was married to his name was Alexander.
okay.
And then the other two sisters, the elder ones, Surabhi and I'm forgetting the other one's name, they moved to Australia. They got married to Australians.
Uh-huh.
So there weren't many young people
All
in.
boys, especially, as is the
uh,
case now.
yeah, there weren't many young people in Delhi.
Yeah.
But then after I came, then there was a spate of young people who came to Sahaja Yoga. And the ones I can remember, there was Harsh, there was Indravardhan, there was Ratna, there was Dhananjay, there
Mm-hmm.
was Gagan, there was Karan. So in the next year and a half, all these people came to Sahaja Yoga, and these were a little more, how do you say, a little more westernized in a sense. And so, like you were asking about some of the things, somebody
Yeah.
was into a little bit of this, and somebody wanted a girlfriend, and somebody wanted a boyfriend. And then I became, in a sense, the guy who used to keep an eye on them. And I'm like, how can you do this? You're a
This
Sahaja
is,
Yogi now.
yeah.
Yeah, this
You're
doesn't,
giving them
this,
reality checks.
yeah. And so they used to be kind of, he's like he's like the one who keeps an eye on everybody and what they're up to and so on and so forth. But, just to the point, in the hearts of hearts, one knew what was right and what is not okay. And
Absolutely.
so when one accepted or came to Sahaja Yoga, then, dropping everything else was just the normal or the natural thing to do.
Yes.
So when I see sometimes when children now are like, oh, we experiment with this, and I'm like, why would you do that? Especially, you've come with a spiritual heritage from your previous lives. You
Yeah.
have had the good fortune of
Yes.
coming to Sahaja Yoga. So why would you muddy yourself up and then try to get rid of it? Because I
Absolutely.
have seen that when you muddy yourself up and you try to give it up, it's not as simple as that.
No.
In Hindi we say वो काई you understand
Yes,
वो
Kai.
काई जो है उसको उतारना इतना आसान नहीं है because it's like this slimy thing which just sticks to you,
It
and
leaves its
even after
mark.
even if you scrub yourself it doesn't come off so easily. And that's what I feel sometimes that children don't realize.
Yeah.
The ones who grew up in Sahaja Yoga or came to Sahaja Yoga, and then they want to try other things, as you might call it.
Yeah.
Stick to the narrow path and grow in your
Yeah.
excellence, in your ascent, and become these wonderful, I would say, Shivaji said, you're like angels. Become these angels through whom the grace of God is emitting, and it's it's evolving the whole of creation. I mean,
Absolutely.
that is what a Sahaja Yogi is. It
Yeah.
should be emitting from you. And so I have got into some, I wouldn't say necessarily heated, but sometimes it becomes contentious because they feel you're trying to control them. You're
Yes.
just trying to keep them on the right path. And um, I think sometimes I can be a little bit, and I can put my foot down and say no. And I've had kids say to me, "So Uncle Manish, you're always right." And I'm like, it's not a question of me being right, but what is right is right. And
Yes.
you guys should know that. It's not a question of this is a debate that we have to have.
Yeah.
And because the thing is, one person indulges, second indulges, then it grows. And then
Yeah.
everybody thinks, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
Um, so, so
It's
sometimes,
prevention is better than cure, as the holds true, isn't it?
yeah, yep. Um, So, yeah, I mean, one thing I have not hesitated on is if I know something is right and I know something is not good for you, and if you're indulging into it, I've had no qualms about going and saying it to you, not because I want to give you a lecture, but because one considers you to be her child, and as a elder, one also sees that it's one's responsibility to
Yes.
keep you on track, because what's in mind is your benevolence. It's not to make you feel smaller or to put you down, but keep you on track. Because I've seen that when you indulge into mistakes, then to clean them is very difficult. There
Yes.
is a verse in the Granth Sahib, which is from this uh, uh, prayer, the first prayer written by Guru Nanak in Japji Sahib, where he says, Moot paliti kapad hoye, de sabun laye o thoye. Mat pariye papa ke sang o tope tote nawa ke rang. So it says that when a piece of cloth gets dirty, because of whatever, then you take a soap and you scrub it and you cleanse it. Says then don't get involved or don't indulge into wrong things, because to cleanse them is very difficult and you really have to scrub it out, because it's like, that's why I was giving that example of the slime, that you remove it, but yet it still lingers. So
Same.
it's like that. Yeah.
Amazing. And it's really from, all these experiences that both of you have shared, are sharing. It's also important, and all the other yogis who have done are still doing and will do so. It's basically to give a perspective in time to come, what it was, the magic of being with Shri Mataji, and what the Sahaj values are, the Sahaj culture, and um, not to be diluted or think any more or any less if an elder tells you what's the correct path or not. And of course, we have that free will, and it's a very
Yeah.
gentle, in almost very subtle, slippery slope, as you were saying in one of the photographs where there were so many yogis with Shri Mataji. I mean, that kind of physical proximity is a dream now. You can only sort of have a vision or a dream being so close to Shri Mataji physically. And yet there were people who were caught in one of the six enemies, whether it was greed or power or anything else. And as Shri Mataji has said, the centripetal forces have taken them out of the collective, out of Sahaja Yoga. And so it's so very important that we keep to the straight and narrow path that Shri Mataji has shown. Is there any last
So,
incident that
Shmita,
you
I want to
remember?
say one thing.
Go
You
on.
talked about the six enemies, and I think I'd shared this talk of Shivati's, I think it's from 76, in which she said that, why are you trying to solve all the problems when the whole Brahmand is waiting. Just leave it at my holy lotus feet. And in that, she said, you have the six enemies, but there's a seventh enemy which is lingering and you don't realize it. And that is this thing of politics. You know, you remember that one? And she said कि मैं तो बहुत वो हूं और मैं तुम्हारे को यहाँ भिड़ा दूंगी और ये कर दूंगी. And she said it
Yes.
lingers and you don't even realize it and you indulge into it.
Yeah.
And I have seen that that is true. That people, because of some stupid idea that, they want to be more important in Surge Yoga, or, they posture that it's like this. And it's very unfortunate that such silly things come into such a tremendous evolutionary force which the divine is doing to evolve all of us. So one should be careful about that
Yeah.
and not indulge into that. And if, you should, in your introspection, see if you're doing that. If not, we should correct ourselves. Maybe that talk, if you can put a link on this
Yes.
video. It's in
If you,
Hindi, if you remember, but I
yes,
can
yes.
resend it to you.
Please,
I
can you
can.
resend it, email
I
it to
can.
me, and I will
Yes.
send it, I'll put it in the write-up, and so everyone can actually remind ourselves again. It is so important, especially as time goes by. I'd like to thank both. Yes,
Can I ask one question of Avadhut?
yes,
Yes.
sure.
Because I'm seeing this happening and I objected to it. Because I said to them, I said, you start doing this, 3 generations from now or 2 generations from now, people say that's what we do in Surge Yoga. I said, that is not true. And so what one objected to is that they started making slips and bringing it and putting it before Shimaji and saying, now we'll draw the slips and that's what we'll do. And I said, that was never in Surge Yoga. I have never heard of it. In fact, there is that video which you made with Gregoire and all of them. They went to Shimaji's old house. And I remember Gregoire and maybe Maureen or one of them making a comment that these days these children pull out slips and all that, and we don't know what that is. And since this we are saying for children, for the new generations and generations to come. So this happened not so long ago in Los Angeles. And so they were doing it. And finally, I had to stop them and say, oh, look, if you're doing it, you're doing it. So some of them came to me and some of them said, but all the children do it. And I was like, but this is not a part of Surge Yoga. So if you started indulging into these things, as somebody who came in the earlier days, one could say that one is, part of what you might call the foundation, then I have to say to you that this is not how we do things in Surge Yoga. Because tomorrow, other people will see you and they'll start doing the same thing. So, Avadhut, you came before me. I have never, with Shimaji, ever seen any of those things. Like you said, you can write a letter and put it at her lotus feet. That's a different thing. But you're putting it to her attention and saying, Shimaji, whatever you think is best, let that happen. But here they make slips and then they start pulling slips. And I was like, don't do this, because in generations to come, people will say that is the modus operandi.
Now, basically, there are quite a number of things in Sahaja Yoga. You're talking of one thing, putting slips means, if I mistake not, means they put some on a piece of paper and put it in Shri Mataji, and then they choose without looking at the and what they should do or something like that. Okay. Now, the other day, um I'll give you another example. These are the children, but a very elderly, very almost the first one in France. He said, we were talking about this Sahaja Yogis getting choosing their own husband or wife in Sahaja Yoga. And his point of view was, of course, it was the elderly lady, But his point of view was that you can choose, but you be discreet about it. Don't let anybody know, sort of a thing, And I've got a very big, how do you say, drawback. I tell, but I don't argue. I just tell them because I uh, believe in two, three things. First is that, especially for the children, realized children, is that in 94, I think, but I can give you that link. Kalve Puja, Shri Mataji said, these are realized children. Tell them what is right, what is wrong. If they go out, doesn't matter, but they'll come back. This is what I perfectly believe that way. And secondly, in I think so 2003 or 4, there was a Guru Puja. It was a 5-minute talk, and Srimati said, "You're responsible for yourself, and you're not responsible for anybody else." Okay. Now, when I look at these things, there are quite a few things which disturb me, like groups and this and that. And then again, there was a talk, Navratri Puja 96, Srimati says that you think what will happen to Sahaja Yoga, what will happen to the world, what will happen to Shri Mataji, and what will happen to everything in the world, how it will happen. So she said that for that you have to be very strong, and for that meditation is very important, very, very important. So I feel I am much more okay. Those vibrations will work out, because also there was a question put to Sri Mataji in December 78. What are vibrations? And Sri Mataji says that the vibrations, they think, they plan, they have relay centers, they have communication centers. And at the end, she says that the vibrations do everything, you don't do anything. I'm really telling you, don't do anything. So I say to myself, if I don't do anything, what should be what should be my role? What should I do? Is that just to become a good instrument? And that good instrument will emit the vibrations, because more I go deep into myself, more the antennas will go up, and those antennas will emit vibrations, and those vibrations will change the world. Srimati says this in May 1987 in Sydney. So I am more sort of impressed with that. I practice that more. And of course, you tell, it's not that you tell, but I don't go, because everybody in their perspective is right. So if they want, okay. If they don't want, forget it. That's not my problem. Because I've seen it in with Sri Mataji. She'll just tell. If somebody, she will never argue. She will never. Even for me, it happened. Me personally, if someday I can tell you, if you listen to that, how my mother was, my mother, she was about to die and all that. How I went to Shrimati. She never forced. She knew everything was going to happen. Uh,
Yeah.
but she never forced. See, so that's what I feel that way. Yeah, of course you should tell now about the sleep or whatever. Mm, mm.
Yeah,
So
and I
you,
agree with you. But one thing which always comes to me, and I remember Shimati saying that I hope you won't do to me what has been done to the other incarnations. That always, जो कहते हैं ना दिमाग में खटकता है.
Mm.
It always keeps coming back to me. And you're absolutely right in saying that by arguing, it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't help anything. But at the same point of time, one feels that you cannot change the trajectory of things. But at least if you say it, maybe at some
Exactly.
point it'll cause
Exactly.
people to pause and to reflect and look
Obviously, you
at
have
it.
to tell. You have to tell.
Because you
Even
even
for my,
see
yeah, yeah. In
you even see older Sahaja Yoginis
yeah,
wearing shoulderless and this.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, since when did that become part of Sahaja Yoga?
Mm.
Never is. There is Shri, and there's Shri Lalita Chakra here, and Shimaji's explained it enough times.
Yes.
Those are the left and the right sides. You're basically paralyzing yourself, because one has had some experiences one we had in Los Angeles, there was this young kid who came and suddenly he wanted to do programs, he wanted to do this, he wanted to do this, he was creating PowerPoints, and people are clapping and applauding and everything and saying he's so dynamic. And then a year and a half, two later, then he went all over the world, stayed at ashrams, this, that, etc. All that happened. And suddenly he comes out and he says, I'm gay. And, yeah. And then there was this other kid from Europe who won the Eurovision. And he came to Los Angeles also. And he came out and he said, I'm gay. And then there was this Indian boy I heard somewhere um, in Arizona, and he wanted to suddenly come dressed up like a woman to a puja. And then the people objected. And so then he moved to another area and he wanted to do the same thing over there. What I'm saying is there are some of these things which are happening. You see, so
Very
someplace
disturbing.
you not only disturbing, you have to put your foot down, because if it permeates into what we call the collective, and even the collective is confused, then it's going to disaster. So sometimes you have to just put your foot down and say, no, that is not okay, because somebody might suddenly say, we are accepting of everything. And Sushmita, you and I have to do that segment on, this
Yes.
bit of how.
Actually, this reminds me that we have to have another session, maybe with both of you, because from the 70s to 2026, the graph has been up and down and up and down, and it has been in many ways easier when Shri Mataji has been in her physical form, because then she would just say one thing and everyone would follow. But now that as Sahaja Yogis, we are all our own gurus, and there is the matter of free will, and how much of a yogi we are is a bit of still a, without doubt, we are still evolving, and all of us, all over the world, in all the countries, we have the blessings of Shri Mataji. But yes, we must do another session on the do's and don'ts, for sure, if both of you are okay with that.
Yeah.
I think so. And I would say also to the younger group, they should also understand that when an older uncle says no or nothing, they have your best interests and your well-being at heart. It is not to impose their will on. Like, for example, I have no desire to impose my will on somebody, but when I'm seeing you going down the khud, as you might say, going down the ravine, you're like, no, 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 I'm pulling you up, and you're saying, no, 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 I have to go down. And you're like, what do you think you're doing? It becomes a battle, and the other person, of course, because you're not agreeing with their whatever, it's coming from the ego, superego, whatever it might be. I don't know what the motivation is, but you're like, don't do it, because you realize that one does it, then 20 others follow. And where is that going to end up in? You're never going to be peaceful. You're never going to be joyful. Why don't you grow in your spirit where you're emitting the spirit? That is, I heard one recent podcast, Search podcast, where some of these kids, they're not kids now, they're in their late 30s, early 40s, saying, they don't understand. We started on the second story. And I'm like, what second story is there? There's no second story unless the foundation is established. Even with manifesting Sri Krishna and his powers, Shivadi said very clearly, before that, you have to establish the maryadas established by Sri Ram, because he's the inside. Sri Krishna is the outside. So, sometimes when people make those statements, I'm like, do you even know what you're saying? And if some of us are saying something to you, I mean, listen, because it's not that we want to control you. We want you to fly, but fly.
Yes.
Don't put those barriers or those bandhans on yourself, because
Yes.
that is actually going to cramp, it's going to make you just something which you're not supposed to be. So That, and the other piece which I would say also is with this thing of yuvas, let's get together and all that. And there's this very old talk of Shimaji's where she said, you know, we have such a society that, it's like a joint family where you have the older, you have the younger, and then you have the youngest. And they don't make groups because the older need the younger to keep them motivated, and the younger need the older to keep them in place. So we are that kind of a society. So sometimes when this thing, the yuva, this thing, that, and I see sometimes how children are behaving, and I'm like, you're supposed to be saints. You're supposed to be saints. I'm not seeing the saintliness. So what do you do? So going to your thing, I think it's not necessarily the do's or don'ts, but to say what does assent mean?
Yeah, I
And
think as what ascent means and what, in a sense, Sahaj culture is. Because even in today's speech, Shrimataji has mentioned the valencies, the dharmas, the 10
yeah,
things that unite us all, human beings, leave alone Sahaja Yogis across the world.
yeah,
I think so. Finally, it's Sri Ganesha who gives the wisdom. If
yep,
somebody doesn't have really the wisdom, you can tell as many times you want. You can do the japas or morning to evening 10,000 times. Doesn't go in the head. But if the Sri Ganesha is good, it will come from inside. And I know of a Sahajogi, he has got two boys, and one of the boys very innocent, though he is not practicing such, but he can see the point so clearly things. And he said to his father, really, if I one day can become like you, really, it's good. I don't practice, but I really, and he was sort of caught smoking, and his father was quite upset about it, but he's told very very calmly to his son that you should not smoke, it's not good and all that. And he said to his father that before you would have slapped me, but now you're telling me with such calmness and such. So his father said, yes, I'm boiling from inside, still I'm outside, I'm cool, but I'm not boiling, but I'm worried about you and all that. And
yeah,
that because when there is no innocence, you can't just break your head. That's of course my own point of view, because then it becomes a big argument, and this, and okay,
yeah,
leave it to Sri Mataji, put a bandhan. I can give so many examples. It happened to me, and really, I know that works. That works. Uh, Instead of rebelling or arguing, that doesn't really work, because the vibrations, they work.
yeah, true.
Vibrations, they are the living things. If I may request both of
Yes,
you to email us the links that we can then share in the write-up to your video and podcast of this session.
yes.
Yeah,
And thank you so much for joining. And
Thanks.
it's
Thank
really
you.
nice. We started on the 20th of February for you, Manish Ji, and on 21st from for you, Avadhut Ji, and in France, and us in England here. But it's really nice to then conclude it on the 21st of February,
yes.
2026 by Shri
Thank you very much.
Mataji's grace.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Jai Shri
Thank you
Mataji.
so much for
yes,
your time
Shivaji.
and sharing your memories with Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi.
I've
Thank
I've
you for everything.
So I've got a document which I will send it to you by email, in which
Perfect.
all the links of the different topics which we have done, which
Yes.
can allow us to go more in
Lovely.
deeper, which I used to do with this UK meditation.
Okay.
All
Yes.
yes, how to
Thank you.
go about the many things are there. I'll send
Thank
it
you
to you.
so much.
Okay,
Yes. Look
Avdut,
so
forward to that. Thank
Avdut
you.
and Sushmita, before we finish,
Yes.
you know, now Avdut and I are on the older end. We both approaching 70s. Next month I'll be 69. And Avdut, I think you're
June.
3 months younger to me. Um, I really would like that if he can do a series, and Sushmita had mentioned to you, they want to do something for children. And so
Yeah.
this, of course, is the first foray into it, but we also want to maybe involve smaller and older children, and
Yes.
maybe
Yes.
even people in the 20s and 30s,
Yeah.
about, what's the importance of Shri Ganesh Tattva, of
Yeah.
innocence in your lives. Why is that important? How will that make your lives beautiful? Um, Maybe we should do a series on that
Yeah.
because children across the globe need it.
Yeah.
Um, I
Quite
was
agree.
seeing even
Very much
with
so.
seminars, they'll do a puja. These days, it's become like a thing that you're having a seminar, so you'll have a havan. Then after that, you will have some kind of entertainment, and then after that, you'll have a puja, and the seminar is over. That's not how it was in the earlier days, right, Avdut? I
Yes,
remember my
Shri Mat.
first one was in not in Body, but further up from Bombay. What's that place? It's a
Nargol.
little,
No, no.
no, it's like a hill station.
Ah, not least.
That was in 81, I think. That was my first shibir. It's right next to Mumbai,
Lonavala?
Yeah,
Lonavala.
Lonavala. Exactly. That was
Lonavala.
82.
Right,
Yes,
right.
yes, yes.
So, this should be done differently. I mean, I have given that thing to people that in 19, it was 1997, Ganpati Phule, Arun Goyal was the leader of India, and I was in Mumbai, and Shimaji was in Mumbai. She was staying with Kalpana Didi. So Arun called me and said, Manish, we want to do a havan. Can you please ask Shimaji? We want to do it before she comes. So I said, okay, I'm going to see her, so I'll go and ask her. So I asked Shimaji, and Shimaji said to me very point blank, हम कोई आर्य समाजी थोड़ा है, हवन करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. So, this indiscriminate, that this is like a procedure that you have in Sahaja Yoga.
Ritual.
If you need to do a havan, then you do it. But it's not that you're getting together, so we are some kind of Hindus that we must do a havan, then we must do this. We must do all these rituals, then we have that. Then they have, okay, we'll do a food shoe beating session. Now we'll have a string burning session. Then we'll have this session. On the flip side, I do remember Shimadi saying that a Shabir or a seminar is for you to go deeper within. So you should do things which take you deeper within yourself. Perhaps those are things also which need to be spoken about because, they're not, I'm seeing a pattern and I'm like, that's not really, I mean, Abdul, from my perspective, and I did get many opportunities to spend like 4 months, 6 months with her, and I never sat with her even in one havan in all that time, not even one havan. So I am not opposed to havans. When you need to do a havan, then you need to do it. But it's not some kind of a protocol that this is how we do things. Having that discretion about it. And how will you get that discretion? Again, it's through meditation. There's no other way. There is no other way.
You've summed it up beautifully.
Yes, Shri Mataji.
Yes, ma'am.
Jai Shri Mataji. Thank
Yes,
you so
Mataji.
much, Shri Mataji. And thank you so much for
We'll be
taking
in touch.
time out. Jai
Bye-bye.
Shri
Jai
Mataji.
Shri Mataji.